One day there was a man named Lucentio, and he grew up quite rich and quite lonely. But he is happy with his books. He loves to read Latin and philosophy and poetry alone in the middle of one of his four houses. And the only interaction with humans was with his servants and his dad. And every day he would just read until he fell asleep on his books and then wake up and keep on reading. Lucentio was content with that until he grew up a little bit and he turned 18 years old and he'd still never left his house. But why would you when you're a child and you have a library full of books? In each of your four houses, you got a whole library and two servants that dress you and feed you. Um, but instead of sitting around one day and reading through all of his books, Lucentio thought about the purpose his characters had in the books that he loved, and it got him thinking what his purpose was. One common theme in his books that he recalled was to be true to yourself, so he assumed he was meant to keep reading and learning and being true to himself, because he thought that himself was his books. So one day Lucentio packed up his backpack and said to his father, "Goodbye, I'm going to school." His father was so happy. He said, "When are you moving out?" And Lucentio responded with, "Oh, Dad, I'm just going to the boys' community college down the street. I'll be back at dinner." And his dad sighed. He's kind of sick of him. Lucentio was really happy at college. Like, he was making friends for the first time in his life besides his servants, and he was reading things he'd never read before. But he still felt like he wasn't fulfilling his purpose, like the people in his books were. But he didn't know what to do. So he continued going to college for 2 years because you might as well just keep doing what you have been doing. And he had nothing better to do. And he had no idea what he wanted to do with his life, so he kept going to school. And one day he came back from school and all of his stuff was packed out in front of the house. And Tranio and Bondello were standing outside with his bags. Tranio said to him, "Welcome back, Lucentio. Your father, Vicentio, told us to pack up your stuff. He's sick of you. He wants you gone today. He gave us money for you to go anywhere except here. And he's forcing us to go with you because he thinks you might die." And Lucentio asked, "Do I at least get to say goodbye?" And Tranio responded with, "No, your dad's really sick of you. He specifically told us to keep you away for at least 2 months. So where are we going?" Lucentio thought for a minute and realized his favorite person that he looked up to all as a child was Odysseus in the Odyssey. He was a hero and everyone loved him, and Lucentio thought that Odysseus found his purpose while he was lost at sea. So Lucentio decided, like all normal people, "Oh, I'll just go to the sea," because Odysseus did, and he was cool. Tranio sighed. He knew this was ridiculous, but the other servant, Vondello, went out and bought a boat and a bunch of water and fishing rods for them to go out to sea anyway. And they all met at the shore, Pisa. Tranio asked him if he was sure if he wanted to do this, but Lucentio was very set on it. He said, I'm ready to do anything to find my purpose. All I've ever done is read books, so it's time to do something like a man." And like all manly men, they go out to sea and float around. The three men got on the boat and head off. They planned to sail all around Italy. But once they got to the second day, they realized that none of them actually knew how to boat, and after a week at sea, they were completely lost. Every day, they felt less and less purposeful in life, and they just floated around for a month. They spent their days fishing and floating and staring at water, hoping they were going in the right direction and hoping they would catch a fish, which also rarely happened because none of them knew how to fish either. But Lucentio and Tranio bonded a lot on the voyage because Bondello bought the smallest boat, thinking, oh, I'll just save money, even though Lucentio is very rich. And so there's only one bed on the boat. And Tranio and Lucentio slept in the same bed every night while they made Bondello sleep on the floor. One night, close to the end of the month of them being on the waters, Lucentio and Tranio were snuggling. And Lucentio asked Tranio, I just don't understand what my purpose is. Do you know? Like, I've done everything in life. Like, I've read things and I'm sort of heroic for floating around on a boat. And Tranio responded with, I think you're focusing on the wrong thing in the Odyssey. His purpose wasn't being out at sea. His purpose was fighting to get back to his wife. Like, why are you focusing on the water? Lucentio was sort of listening, but not really to what Tranio said. So he responded with, so you're saying is my purpose is whatever I left back at home, like my university. Tranio sighed because Lucentio's kind of dumb for somebody that reads books a lot. And he's like, sure. I was thinking maybe you could get like a girl or something. But Lucentio had already cut him off and wasn't paying attention. And he was already thinking about going to school again and reading and all the things he missed from home. So Lucentio started talking about what he's going to do when he get back to land, and he decided as soon as we get to land, we'll find the nearest university, and I'll write to my father about my new purpose, which isn't really new, but he's going to a new college, so I guess you can call it a new purpose. A few days later, they anchored on a shore called Padua, where Lucentio would look at nothing until he spotted the city's renowned university, and he wrote to his dad about his excitement and how he needed more money because they were broke and spent all their money on water and fishing supplies, and the school was really expensive. He sent the letter at the public square in Padua, where he finally took a breath and relaxed and calmed down a little bit from his excitement about seeing a university and reading and stuff. And that's when he saw the first girl he had ever seen in his life, because he never left his house. And she was so beautiful and elegant and soft, and he knew his purpose now was to marry this girl.